major shift may be looming in Canada's trade policy. For months, the Trudeau-era 100% tariff on Chinese electric vehicles stood as a symbol of protection for the domestic auto industry. But Beijing hit back hard, targeting Canada's canola exports, a lifeline for farmers across Saskatchewan. That retaliation left Ottawa caught between two powerful constituencies, auto workers on one side and prairie farmers on the other. Now the tone is changing. With Premier Scott Moe's high-profile trip to China, Prime Minister Mark Carney's public expression of gratitude, and Foreign Minister Mélanie Joly's cautious remarks ahead of today's cabinet meeting, the message is becoming clear. Canada may be preparing to roll back the tariff. This is more than a trade dispute. It cuts to the core of Canada's economic strategy. The EV tariff was designed to shield Canadian auto production and give space for the domestic EV sector to grow. But China's countermeasures have hammered canola producers, who have warned Ottawa for weeks that they cannot shoulder the cost of a political standoff. The situation has become politically unsustainable, and today's conversation suggests the government knows it. That exchange was more than polite politics. Carney deliberately thanked Premier Moe for taking the political risk of traveling to Beijing, a move many in Ottawa might have dismissed. In doing so, he signaled that he understands the gravity of China's retaliation and the pressure it has created. His remarks weren't just about solidarity with Moe. They were a message to farmers and exporters that their concerns are now front and center in Ottawa. For months, the federal line was unyielding. The EV tariff would stay. Carney's expression of gratitude shows that space for flexibility is opening. His comments underscore the balancing act at the heart of this debate. On one side, the tariff shields Canada's auto industry, giving domestic manufacturers breathing room in a fiercely competitive market. On the other, Beijing's canola retaliation has squeezed prairie farmers who rely on international buyers. By publicly recognizing Moe's trip, Carney made it clear this is an either or choice. He's signaling a search for a strategy that protects auto jobs while easing the strain on farmers. This isn't retreat, it's recalibration, and it gives Ottawa more room to maneuver. Europe was part of the answer too, and that single remark may be the most significant signal from Ottawa yet. Foreign Minister Mélanie Joly not only confirmed that the government is actively reviewing the EV tariff, she also outlined a fallback plan. Diversify EV imports from South Korea, Japan, and Europe. This isn't just about dropping a tariff. It's about redefining Canada's place in the global EV market. The dilemma is clear. Ottawa doesn't want to look weak in the face of Beijing, but neither can it punish Canadian farmers indefinitely. Joly's words are the clearest sign, yet that the government is searching for a way forward. And the fact that these signals are coming not just from Joly, but also from Prime Minister Mark Carney, underscores that this is no slip of the tongue. It's a coordinated shift. The political conversation in Canada is moving toward the possibility, perhaps even the inevitability, of lifting the tariff. If that happens, the consequences will be far-reaching. Farmers would gain relief from Beijing's punishing retaliation. Canada's auto sector would face more competition, but also benefit from cheaper EVs entering the market. And geopolitically, Canada would be signaling that pragmatism is prevailing over confrontation. There's also the U.S. dimension. When Ottawa first imposed a 100% tariff, it was largely in step with Washington's efforts to blunt China's dominance in the EV market. But with Donald Trump once again threatening tariffs and escalating rhetoric against Canada, Ottawa has less incentive to mirror his strategy. Removing the tariff would therefore be more than an economic adjustment. It would be a political statement. It would show that Canada is no longer willing to absorb domestic pain just to stay in lockstep with Washington. If farmers and industry benefit while Trump's narrative takes a hit, that's a double win for Carney. At its core, this debate goes beyond cars and canola. It's about how Canada positions itself in a fractured global economy. Can the country protect its industries without sacrificing its farmers? Can it stand firm against China without triggering retaliation that undercuts Canadians at home? Carney's gratitude toward Premier Scott Moe was a recognition of the provinces most exposed to Beijing's counterpunch. Joly's remarks went further, confirming that Ottawa is actively preparing for a policy shift. But there's also an opportunity here. Removing the tariff doesn't have to mean flooding the market with Chinese EVs. Ottawa could leverage negotiations to push Chinese automakers to build inside Canada, factories, jobs, and a stronger domestic supply chain. What began as a trade standoff could become a cornerstone of Canada's green economy, turning a moment of vulnerability into long-term strength. For Canadians, this could mark one of the most consequential trade reversals in recent memory. The EV tariff once seemed untouchable. Now, the question isn't if it will be lifted, but when. And when that decision comes, it won't just reshape Canada's trade with China. It will redefine how Canada balances protection, prosperity, and politics in a world where economic choices carry as much weight as military ones. At Canada Today, we cut through the noise and bring you the deeper story behind these